right, House of Payne fans. Now here we are with the review for last night's episode. It was season 12, episode 5, entitled Forget Me Not. To be completely blunt, filler episode. That's really what it was. I mean, I can't really have too many complaints, but at the same time, there really isn't much to dissect. The only scene I felt worthy of mentioning was the scene between, CJ and Jasmine in regards to wanting the best for their kids. Or, Jasmine, who doesn't have any kids, obviously when she, gets older and starts a family, she would want the best for them. Now, remember the synopsis of the episode was, Curtis gets into a car accident, and based on the promo alone, you could already tell what the major storyline for the episode was going to be, and that was simply due to the fact that, he got into an accident, hurt his head, and as a result, he has a different personality. He doesn't have his memories, but I could sum up that part of the episode in less than 30 seconds. Curtis is looking for his car keys because he needs to get a haircut. Eventually, he gets them because, he forgot about loaning his car to Calvin because Calvin's car was in the shop. As a result, while he's driving, there was a negligent driver, in his lane, and he had to swerve out of the way to avoid being hit. As a result, went to the hospital. Ella brought him home. Everybody's worried. You saw the promo. It was Malik, Lisa, Laura, Calvin, Ella, and CJ. And Curtis just doesn't remember anybody. So most of the episode is spent reintroducing everyone to Curtis, and he's acting completely opposite from his usual personality. He's talking about how much he appreciates everybody, complimenting everyone. Looking through a photo album, he opts to go on a family vacation with, him, that foxy woman, Ella. Oh, I can't believe that's my wife. Calvin and even Laura to kind of, get to know everybody again, because he couldn't believe how much of a tightwad his quote-unquote old persona used to be. But, while he's in the kitchen with Ella, who warns him not to step in a certain area because it's wet on the floor, she spilled something, he does it anyway, falls, bumps his head, and he's back to his old self. That's pretty much the only major storyline of the episode. B story, CJ is helping the twins with their science project, and he doesn't want them to do anything less than the best. But the problem is, instead of really asking the twins what they want to do, he just opts to do the project for himself. Do the project himself for the twins. But the problem is the fact that they're in elementary school, and he's trying to build this, super advanced, volcano project. Now, keep in mind, I remember, in 5th grade, I was helping my nephew with like a, what do you call it? Like a diorama, I forgot where it was. I know, was it like Idaho or something? Ohio. It was some state project. The project where you had to get like a shoebox or a box and then like recreate an environment, add in facts about the animals, the tree, the plant life, that kind of stuff. And I helped him out with that. I mean, that was like $100 investment between computer ink, needing to get certain things for the project. He got a perfect score on it, a very high grade, pretty much 100 and then some extra credit. But it was done in a way where you could tell like somebody in 5th grade contributed to the project, which he did. He got to pick out the animals. I helped him narrow it down, the different plant life. He helped me, cut the stuff out of, the paper when it printed out and this, that, and the third. So it definitely looked like it was a team effort as opposed to, I just got my parent to do it. I just got my older sibling to do it. But in any case, throughout the episode, first it was Malik and Lisa trying to tell him, hey, let the twins do it. I mean, you're what are you doing? And then later in the episode, like I said, he and Jasmine have a discussion. The twins do a project, they do a volcano, but CJ felt like it isn't good enough. And the thing is, look, on the one hand, I understand CJ. I get it. And I'm not a parent, but I get it. You want the best for your kids. You don't want them slacking. It's like, slackers today. Next thing you know, they'll be cheating to get their way into high school. Get into college. And from there, they're like, bro, chill. They're only in elementary school. And it's like they did the project. It's just like not good enough to your standard. And I get that he's a sarcastic character, but it kind of feels like he craps on his kids a bit too much, specifically Malik. I mean, yes, Malik is the quote-unquote problem child. I mean, go back to the original series, that guy just stayed in trouble. But, eventually he started to get his life back on track, and to be honest, the major slip-up for him was, getting involved with Lisa while, having unprotected sex, getting her knocked up. He's still in school, and I'm not saying you can't be successful and have a kid throughout college, but the fact that he had his life on a certain track, but he ventured off it, and now he has to deal with a permanent consequence. So yeah, it just feels like, yeah, you know what, I don't want to raise another kid like you, or I see what happened when I didn't help this particular kid with a project. But see, to be fair to CJ, I mean, I would not call him a negligent parent at all. I mean, is it right to really just look at your, oldest kids as an example of, wow, I didn't do good enough? But you have to remember your wife was dealing with an addiction, and she was an absentee parent for some developmental years of your oldest two children. So you were holding it down as best you can. So that's why I kind of don't like CJ a little bit. Maybe it's because I've dealt with, verbal ridicule from my dad growing up, but and then his side of the family. But at the same time, I get it. It's supposed to be a comedic thing, and maybe I'm just taking it too personal. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, it's kind of like, man, you did, and I'm giving CJ props. Like, hey, man, you did a good job, or as best a job you could, and it took a village. You had your aunt, your uncle, heck, even Calvin kind of chipped in to help out with the kids when he could. But yeah, it's just like you don't have to be so hard on the twins, and then at the same time, talk about how your oldest kid grew up. And I mean, to some extent, he kind of challenged Jasmine, like, hey man, hey, you don't know, you don't have any kids, so you'll understand one day you have kids wanting the best for them. Yeah, but at the same time, you doing everything for them isn't helping. I mean, at the very least, why not work on the project with the kids? Because based on CJ's reaction to their volcano, I don't think CJ had anything to do with that at all. Jasmine was the one who was supposed to make sure they did a project, which she did. It's just that, again, it wasn't up to his standards. So he makes a very impressive volcano, but at the same time, it's way too advanced for a couple of, elementary schoolers. So my thing was, I was going to dock the episode more points because they kept mentioning the twins, but we never saw them. But we saw them at the very end of the episode when they got home from like the science fair. It turned out that they have to do the project again because based on the extreme advanced project that they had, it's clear that, oh, you didn't make this. And that's CJ's fault. But they still won the science fair because of how awesome the volcano was, but they do have to remake their own. Which begs the question of, did CJ just take the one that they did and, create his own from that? Or did he just throw it out? Because if he threw it out, that's a shame because the volcano that they had was probably good enough or on par with everyone else's. So overall, yeah, the volcano story or the Kid Science Fair storyline, that was more, impactful for me than the other storyline about Curtis just bumping his head. Also, is Tyler Perry isn't writing these episodes, but are the writers just, trying to kill Curtis off because this is the second time in like 6 episodes? Because the ending of the season 11 finale, oh my god, the food truck exploded, is Curtis dead? Now it's like, oh, he almost bit it in a car accident. So yeah, give Curtis a break. Alright, well, with that being said, I'm going to score this episode a 4 out of 10. Like I said, this was completely skippable. The only scene I think is worth watching is the one between CJ and Jasmine at the midway point. And like I said in my episode trailer breakdown and the video about Jasmine being a recurring character, it's just good seeing Jasmine again. It really is. Alright, well, with that being said, take a moment to like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And I will catch you in the next one.